So I'm Trish Triumpho Sullivan from Downtown Book and Sound, and we're here with the author Joe with his new book. Uh, excuse me, his new book, Second Act, and it's a novel of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. So we're starting a little early so I can set this up, and we have some live music right now by the Dan Beck Trio. Dan Beck Band is there three band members here tonight, and I'm just going to put this up so we can see everything that's going on right now.
They play together often.
Yeah, they're a band. So it's only three members of the band. We have a full like 6 band, and everyone's together. We have a couple backup singers. But you know, it's kind of a niche because we don't like to do covers. So people that want like original music, want something like this, you know, like for say the cocktail hour, and then the full band for the band. He does some rock and stuff. That's really it's funny. He does a lot of work here in the. Like he'll sit here and just play guitar because we want her. And so people will say, "Oh, I thought it was a CD," but I say they don't realize that it's a real thing. And so like he sells a lot of those CDs just like people coming in and hearing him playing when he's just goofing around. You know? But he does a lot of he has a few select covers. He has a couple of Beatles songs he plays. Could be just one of them. And then, a couple of like really cool like 30s stuff, like also the 19 which is really kind of jazzy.
I feel like the door right here, and I walk, so it's like,
yeah, it's really good music. Yeah,
it's not
there's not. That's kind of an unfortunate thing.
But it's hard because you go like
there's very few places that have this in between kind of music where the music sounds great. We can listen to it, but we can still talk.
Exactly.
And those music that have that music, it's so loud. And you have to have a conversation.
I don't know.
Yeah, a good level you should be able to speak. And then if you know this is like whether you're with a date or whether you're just hanging out. If the conversation gets that adult like stopping point, then you have music to focus on. So it's not like awkward or weird. But you can also still talk, which is a big deal for me. Would you like some more than something? What would you like?
Whatever watch it out.
Okay, we have a bubbly and then we have this. Okay. Hang on a second. Yay! I'm pretty blessed that like sometimes we have other live music, but especially if it's an author that has a particular style of music that they want. Like we had a Latino guy come and really awesome work, and he was hoping for some more kind of traditional cultural music, and so the guy just happens right now, but we have Alicia Clark back, who does his beautiful harp, full size harp. But it's like that. It's like this. It's kind of magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah. What should I get for you? I'll pour you a glass. Absolutely.
She's okay with the same one.
Okay. In that case, we'll do the one we have open.
Yeah.
And then you can have a plastic water to go when you leave. That way you have something for the road. What would you like?
Please, can I have some more? The peanut is still going.
Pinot's still going. We have a lot of white wine drinkers tonight, not as many reds.
So this is very good, so thank you.
It is very good. So thanks to Paula and Joe here.
Yeah.
So we're here having a party. Come on down, folks. Downtown Book and Sound, 213 Main Street, Salinas, California. I don't know. Do you want some wine? Here you go. So you guys have a separate meeting today? Because originally we had a meeting all together. We were going to have music and art and everything. And then Marianne said, oh, she changed ours to 1 o'clock from noon.
Yeah, I think we had so much business to take care of. I gotta talk to you about this afterwards.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do, because
Yeah.
now I'm curious.
Yeah, but you know who, but also us and the extravaganza. So.
So you're going to be at the extravaganza? Or the gala, I mean.
Well, gala, I'm not gonna be at the gala itself. I'm gonna
No,
be.
you're going to be playing music. No, I know.
I'm at the show. I was
you're
gonna say.
at the show.
Yeah, I'm not doing the gala itself. They have an outside group doing the show. Like a real what you call it, like a real band. Well, I'm
As
gonna,
opposed to a fake band.
no, like a what you call it, like a folk band. So I'm playing in the music. So yeah, for the show, what is it? White Star, which was written by Steve Martin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a great show. So
Yeah, we both teach at Harvard
two
College,
more.
so that's
Tomorrow
our
night and Sunday
that's
afternoon.
our day job.
What time does it start?
What may I get for you?
Show starts at 7:30. If you're planning on going, let me know. I can use my list.
In between,
I need Trish.
I do. I have a white one and I have a red one.
Instead of $30, I can get them for $6, $12 each.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So let me know.
Yeah, I'll try to talk to Trish about it tonight, take this up for it. Because I'd like to hear that. I'd like to see that show.
Facebook is like, think of some new questions.
Yeah, that was, I had to put I had to buy 6. So I put it in a pot. I kept it in a pot because it's hard to just put that soil. Like, you can mix it with like soil. But yeah, you put really well pots, so probably like this. And then but it's usually nice because they're not all ready at once. Like some this is like probably 2 months. Like you already have speakers that are on it, but now there's like still sour. I'm wondering if next year will be the same or if it is like sometimes like that first year crazy, but after that it's
There was a time when Grace was that she would
One thing that I see about that is
and that was kind of easy. That's all the very
I probably 40 speakers.
So as you're hearing,
I
don't have instruments, so I don't know anything about
There's nothing like it.
yeah, that's pretty neat.
That must be set up there.
Some of that's
Trader Joe's. Love wine and cheese. Whatever.
Well, it's all very good.
Yeah.
You did very well. This is.
And the pear trees, three of them are
Right off all this wine and food. Makes happen.
those ones big seeds. They have to be like right on. So that tastes like milk. That's sweet.
Don't we have another chair? A third wooden chair?
Well, she's sitting on one.
Oh, no, that's a stool.
Yeah, there's another one over here.
Like an adult size one?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Never mind. I know, now I know where it's at. Yeah. I've been drinking wine.
She found the book. I'll be right with you. I can help you. Oh, you got it.
Yes, we have a,
Those are lemon.
get going.
One knee behind the bar.
Well, we can either do it where you're sitting over there and I'm sitting on the side.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or we can do it with you behind the bar. So either way, it doesn't really matter. But the audience, people will be sitting here. We can get more chairs if we need to. I do have a whole staff in the background. Otherwise, some people might be focusing. We're not going to be like super long time with this, so.
How long was that meeting?
Well, you were going to do your reading. So what I normally do is
How do you shower?
Navratil.
I'm not finding for a few days.
Making sure that we're doing your
I was supposed to see her still. But then she
So,
and she was sick, so I couldn't make it.
to start with,
Right now.
then we'll
I
put all
invited her here, but she's
I'll
not.
just write about your reading and then questions in the audience. Question and answer, and that's it. I'm
Are
going
you fine? I
to.
think that's where I'm going to sit.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You wanna
Yes.
have any chairs in the audience?
Okay, everybody, who wants to get something to drink before we start? Or eat? Come on and belly up to the bar. I've got water, I've got. Water? Make sure I'm not spilling it on your hand there. There we go.
Just more wine.
Which, white?
Yeah, white.
In the same glass? Sure.
Oh, fantastic.
Way to do a book reading, huh?
I'll take you up on the water, please.
Okay. Water is good. Water is life. Very good.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You gonna get some red? Sure. Red's really good. Kind of rotates. I like red wine, but the thing about red wine is that it makes me more, you know. It's definitely it affects me more. Okay, so I need this. No, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it to put the.
Oh, for the.
Yeah, because we're doing up close and personal. So, are you guys okay standing, or would you like a chair? Yeah, we have a bunch more chairs. Dan can.
How many do we need?
Maybe 3.
You didn't help yourself?
No, that's fine.
Do you want to come in that little chair?
I'm gonna temporarily put this on the floor with our bar towel. Move a couple things over, and does someone have a copy of the book I can borrow?
Jack.
The a few copies that we have are gone, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, they all went. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna put this here.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. Now I'm still facing the audience, right? Not the computer.
Well, to start out with, you're going to talk to me for just a sec. I might go and shut the doors after before we get going, just because.
Sure. Maybe have that sort of stuff.
Or I'll get my Dan to dog him really quick.
My Dan.
Well, he kind of is. He kind of is my Dan. So, yeah. What do we do the? There we are. You got the perfect size chair.
I know.
Just in case.
Board is in session.
Thanks, Dan. I think that's plenty for everyone, in case we need more.
Either of you want a chair? Okay, so I brought extras.
Well, we're here live at Downtown Book and Sound with the author Joe Navratil.
You got it.
And I know I'm so impressed with myself. I was able to pronounce your last name. I was going to ask if you wouldn't mind maybe dogging the doors.
I think that might
Because,
be a good idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got a lot of, Salinas has always been kind of a car town. And that's one reason that James Dean fell in love with Salinas, actually, was because he felt at home. He liked the car culture we had here. So, obviously, we've got some people revving their engines outside, so we're going to dog the doors really quick. But I want to welcome everyone who's online watching or who's watching later to Downtown Book and Sound, and making sure that we're all live here and I didn't screw something up, because it could happen. And so I'm Trish Triumph Sullivan, the proprietor of Downtown Book and Sound. I just realized I still have my my lab coat on from working. Let me take my lab coat off.
You're fitting the theme of the book.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, even
There's a lot of
better.
lab stuff.
Okay, well, see, here I was in costume the whole time, and didn't even know it. So we're here with this wonderful author event with Joe Navratil, and his book Second Act, a novel of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And I have not finished reading it. I've just started it. So I can't really speak to it right now, but from what I hear, it is darn good, and you should be reading it or listening to it. as an audiobook. So we're going to get started with the author right now, and I'd like to introduce. I did write his name down, so he's on the banner on the bottom there, and want to introduce you. So thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to move this a little bit closer so we can see him better as he's reading and talking. And actually, let me see if I can. I'm going to borrow this for a sec. See if I can get. That might get that. Keep it down a little bit. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. And I'd like to introduce our special guest, the author tonight. And I'm going to move this way a little bit.
There we go.
So tell me, Joe, a little bit about yourself. First off, what got you into writing in the first place? And give me just a sec here while I try not to lose my my electrical connection because I have an old computer, and by gosh, if I don't have it plugged in, I'm in trouble.
Gotcha. I think you got it.
Okay, I think we can see you now.
Yeah.
So tell me, so tell us, and I'm sure everyone here already knows.
Most of us.
But what got you into writing?
I started writing when I was a young kid. So two things happened that led to this book. I loved to write stories as a kid, even in the elementary school. And my mom looked like Audrey Hepburn. She was told that many times growing up. I just remembered that when an Audrey Hepburn movie would come on television, we would watch it together. And those are in the days before, VCRs, and you could record and, rent things or stream things. So we would circle shows in the TV guide that would come on advertising for that week. And we would watch Roman Holiday and Breakfast at Tiffany's and these great Audrey Hepburn movies together. So I just kind of cataloged that. And then life happens, right? So I became a naval officer. I did 20 years in the Navy.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. And I kept writing during that time, too. I taught English at the Naval Academy. And that was the first time I almost finished a novel. But the long story short is I started 6 previous novels. They're all on the shelf. Like, not this kind of shelf, but in the on the electronic shelf, never finished. And then I saw one picture of Audrey Hepburn, and it was a black and white photo of Audrey pre-stardom in San Francisco in 1953, holding a poodle. And it's right outside of the Palace Hotel in San Francisco. And I went to bed that night, woke up in the middle of the night, and I had an idea for a book. And not only that, a book I thought I would finish. So I stayed up that night, wrote an entire chapter, which I'm going to read a little bit of that chapter to you. And basically, living near Silicon Valley, I did a lot of research into tech. And I decided I wanted to write a novel about Audrey Hepburn, but I wanted to reincarnate her through technology. And so I don't know a thing about tech. Everyone in here knows more about tech than I do. But luckily, living where I live, I could go to Stanford University. They could walk me through all the ropes, and they did. Huge thanks to their virtual human interaction lab there. And they let me know what was possible now and 10, 20, 50 years in the future. So for fictional purposes, I grabbed the 50 years in the future and put it into the now. So I came up with this character that went through multiple revisions. That's the other main character with Audrey Hepburn in the novel. His name is Bradley. He has some phobias, fear of touch, fear of crowds. Doesn't leave his house. He's kind of a hermit, but he's a savant. He's brilliant. So Bradley went years without leaving his house, finally did. But before he did, his company invented a dating app. And this mysterious woman from Tokyo named Nicole convinces him to watch Roman Holiday with her across the internet. And the story takes off from there. So that's the very first chapter, is that Bradley's swiping through a dating app, even though he's afraid to leave his house. And Nicole approaches him, and there's a lot of twists and turns throughout the novel. What you thought you knew, you really didn't know, and hopefully that's fun for the reader.
Wow, thank you. So you've pretty much given us the whole background that we
I tend to
needed
do that.
without me having to ask any more questions, which is great. So what else would you like to tell us about before you do a reading of your book? Like, what is there something else we should know about you or about your journey here?
About my journey, publishing is hard. Getting a book published.
Well, that's an
hard.
understatement.
And I tried for a year to get traditionally published, and I thought that the content of this book was too important to try another 100 agents. So I decided to publish independently, self-publish, and that puts all of the marketing on the writer. And some of us are really introverts. I'm a recovered introvert, I like to say. My wife, I'm not sure, agrees with that all the time.
I'm gonna say you can't be a professor and be a complete introvert
That's
anymore.
true. I came out of my shell, and speech classes helped a lot. But still, my default setting is to sit down and read a book, which I hope everyone here does out there too, and pick up second act to read it. But I decided my main character, Bradley, was going to be an introvert and has these phobias, again, fear of touch, fear of crowds, doesn't leave his house. He has a very small team with the company he works for. And this is a really important point, if I can make this. In the original text of the novel, I had him be like a Bill Gates character that owns a company. In my readers group, critical readers group in Davis, California, said, I don't care about a Bill Gates guy inventing Audrey Hepburn. I want to know about the guy who doesn't leave his house. He's got all these phobias, and these ideas come to him, and he only releases 1 out of 10 of his ideas into the world, and they become wildly popular. I want to have a 24-year-old, multi-phobic sort of guy who, as the technology develops, so does their relationship, Audrey and Bradley. And so that's exactly what I did. So kudos to the Davis, California writers group that I met on Meetup. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool.
Thank you. So I have a couple of quick chapters here I wanted to read, not all the way through the 2 chapters. One of them kind of gets to the technology that is developed. And it's really important for folks to know that it's not a sci-fi novel. I am not a sci-fi person. I still haven't seen Star Wars. Any of them. I haven't. So don't hold it against me.
Have you seen Star Trek?
I saw 1 Star Trek.
Okay.
I saw 1. I
Right.
used to watch the TV
you're
show.
forgiven.
Yeah. But so tech doesn't come naturally to me. So that took a lot of research. But I wanted to get the tech right, but I also wanted to get it out of the way. So once the reader starts understanding what I'm doing with the tech or what Bradley's inventing with the tech, I stop talking about the technology. So if you're worried about it being too techy, don't. I just gave it in spoonfuls throughout the novel. The most important thing is the relationship with Audrey Hepburn. And it's really a novel about Audrey Hepburn because I don't want her to be forgotten. And if Instagram has anything to say about it, she won't be because there's so many pages devoted to Audrey Hepburn. So the first chapter I wanted to read a part of kind of talks about the tech. And then a later chapter, just real quick, talks about the relationship between Bradley and Audrey once she's reincarnated. So this is in Bradley's first person voice. My fingers flew over the keyboard as I merged Reel to Reel, Cardinal, and our latest virtual reality updates, retitling it Bannister. It seemed appropriate to recognize his influence. I uploaded photos and videos to set the background scene, colorizing them where needed. I knew that Advic and Ara would come up with better programs over time, but I burned to meet Audrey Hepburn now. Then I turned to my other creation, which I had named A-Idry. I created her by feeding every known nugget of content about Audrey Hepburn into a whole brain emulation, as faithful to the original as possible. I was particularly taken by a wholesome Roman holiday screen test and used that to develop A-Idry's persona. Smiling, I peeked ahead into her life and inserted her love of dogs for the scene I had in mind. I decided to build the relationship slowly, as it might have happened in the 1950s with an emerging star and a computer nerd with phobias. Well, maybe not that slowly. My anticipation overwhelmed me as I drew closer to testing. Finally, everything was ready. I donned the bulky virtual reality headgear and haptic gloves in order to see her and feel the touch of the dog's leash and any other touch Bannister might offer. A last-minute thought had me running for the back of my closet, and I threw on tan corduroys, a blue dress shirt, maroon sweater, and a brown herringbone sport coat. On the way to the studio, I punched the air conditioning down to 58 degrees to simulate May temperatures in San Francisco. Then I doubled back to my closet and saw a gray scarf. I had no idea where it came from, but wrapped it around my neck. Here we go. I'm actually going to meet Audrey Hepburn in as real a way as I can this side of the afterlife. Car horns from long ago automobiles blared and cacophonous street noise reverberated around my studio. I hadn't programmed in smells, but noted that for the next time. My attire fit in well enough with the people out and about at 10 a.m. A tug on my right arm caused me to look down and see a tan poodle at the end of it. I said in a voice I barely recognized, "Hi, Fifi, good to see you." And the dog looked up at me for instructions. I looked across the street to the Palace Hotel. A long row of potted shrubbery sat behind a low wooden barrier. I recognized that as the location of the old black and white photos Lauren had shown me. I crossed at the corner of Montgomery and Market, heading left toward the shrubs. I wondered when and how the program would present A-Idry to me. The answer came in the form of a photographer awkwardly backing out of the hotel lobby while looking down into his camera viewfinder as helpers opened the doors for him. "Hold it, please, Miss Hepburn, wait." He adjusted his lens and tested the flash. "Okay, now please." And suddenly there was soon-to-be 24-year-old Audrey Hepburn in all her pre-stardom glory, no more than 20 feet from me. She wore a gray skirt suit that ran to mid-shin, the jacket adorned with black buttons that ended just below her breasts. A red belt cinched tightly around her small waist added a swatch of color, and she wore white gloves with dark flat shoes. Somehow, the cream-colored scarf tucked inside her jacket didn't add heft to her dancer's appearance. Her hair looked exactly like the Back from Paris style from Sabrina. I reminded myself she hadn't filmed that yet. The photographer clicked away and the flash popped as Audrey's minder shooed away onlookers from getting in the shot. She seemed uncomfortable with the attention, smiling when instructed and dropping it when he wasn't snapping away. Finally, he said, "Okay, I have to switch cameras now. Just a moment, Miss Hepburn." Then she looked to her left, directly at Fifi and me. Thunderclaps. Audrey said, "What a beautiful creature." I knew she meant the dog, but it made me stand up just a little bit taller as she walked toward us. She ignored the protestations of the photographer and minders and looked me straight in the eye from several steps away. "Hello, what's your dog's name?" Her delicious European accent dried my mouth. I was about to speak with Audrey Hepburn. I cleared my throat as best I could. "This is Fifi." Then she was right next to me. "May I pet her? I'm Audrey, by the way." "Yes, she'd like that. My name is Bradley." Audrey removed her gloves and extended her hand. I shook it, managing to control my phobias. I realized she didn't have any pockets, so I offered to hold the gloves. I felt the slight weight added to my own haptic gloves. "Thank you, Bradley." Then she squatted down and petted the dog. Hi, Fifi girl. How are you enjoying your walk around San Francisco? Audrey Hepburn, virtual or not, was crouching next to me. I could have counted the hairs on her head given enough time. I forced my nervousness away and squatted down next to her, tucking her gloves in my coat pocket. Audrey's brilliant smile was heartfelt and heart-stopping, unlike what she threw at the camera moments ago. So that's the chapter. Thank you. That's the chapter I wrote in the middle of the night, or just part of it, actually. That's about half of it. And that is the only chapter that remained unchanged, unedited, unrevised. I nailed it. So I guess I should be writing in the middle of the night instead of 7 to 10 at night when I'm working on the novel. But that gets a little bit at the technology side of it and his first experience with Audrey. So just to fast forward and tease the novel a little bit more, they develop a relationship. And it's a romantic relationship. And if you're wondering, okay, well, what's the technology that would allow a human and a virtual being to have Zach's laughing because Zach's read the book. What's the technology that would allow that to happen? Well, it's out there. You can Google yourself and figure out what that is. But just know that he's seeing stuff initially through the virtual reality headgear. And there are things that he can touch and dance with and everything else that replicates what he's seeing in the virtual reality headgear. And as the technology advances, so does their relationship. So as things develop in the novel, she just appears in his living room. And that's the next quick chapter I'd like to read. She doesn't just appear. You know, they have a relationship. And yeah, she pops up unannounced. So Audrey Hepburn pops up into Bradley's living room. So this is about 150 pages later. And the book is about to transition. I don't want to give that away for those that want to read it. But after this chapter, Audrey takes control of the technology. And also the book is presented in her first person voice, first person point of view, which was an overwhelming task to write in Audrey Hepburn's voice. But this is still in Bradley's voice here. A few days later, we sat on my couch. Audrey's lissom dancer legs were tucked under her white shorts as she air scrolled through current fashions on the big screen, as I taught her. It was almost as if she was human. I had almost abandoned thinking she wasn't. For the first time, I noticed her feet, longer than you'd think, thin and angular. Her toenails were painted red to match her sleeveless blouse. Her arms were also long and flawless. She was comfortable just hanging out with her hair down, but always stylishly brushed. She said, "It's fascinating how fashions have changed. I'll take your wardrobe from Two for the Road any day." That's my favorite of her movies, by the way. Audrey smiled. "What did you say that's called now? Vintage? I suppose I'm vintage also." I smiled, but something was nagging me. There were a few virtual expeditions I was considering, but without Audrey. Having escaped her learning about the interviews I'd done with her former beaux, I felt compelled to get her opinion on these new ideas. "Audrey, I thought about taking an excursion without you." "Oh?" She focused her attention on me fully, propping her chin in her hand. Should I feel offended? My silence answered that. "Bradley, talk to me." I blurted out, "I want to speak with your parents, individually." She scooted closer, concern crowding her face. "Why is that?" I faced away from her. She followed, getting right back in front of me. I tried to look her in the eyes, but faltered. "I have questions for them, Audrey. Questions I need answers to. Questions the whole world has for them. How your mother never told you she loved you. Even worse, how your father abandoned your family to be a Nazi. I want to look in their eyes and feel their answer. Don't you want to know too?" Well, there it was. She searched my face, which hopefully revealed good intentions. Her eyes revealed her answer, and she sighed heavily. "I would prefer you didn't." But Audrey, Bradley, I have my answers to those questions. My mother was raised the standoffish Dutch way and was my lifelong confidant. I'm not someone who needs to hear someone say, I love you, to feel it. And my father, I said goodbye to him. This was my moment to tell Audrey I loved her. Instead, I said, I'm sorry, but those answers are insufficient. Bradley, please don't. That's my request. I saw the plea in her eyes and said, all right. Thank you, Bradley. To break the tension, Audrey asked me to play some songs from her era, so I grabbed my cell phone. Are you going to take some more photos first? I smiled, no, watch and listen to this. I searched for a list of songs from the 1960s, and the speakers in my home studio honored us with Time of the Season by the Zombies. I always loved this song, Bradley. How does that little device play so clearly? I'm used to LPs and a lot of static, I guess. I gave her a quick primer on Bluetooth and how the music played from my phone on wireless speakers. She looked overwhelmed. I think I'll end there. It goes on from there. Thank you. So I introduced contemporary technology, to Audrey that we are all so familiar with. But, from someone who passed away more than 30 years ago, can you imagine introducing what we have today to someone that's been gone for 30 years? At the same time, Bradley, as you heard, is trying to understand her life. And as I mentioned, after that chapter, Audrey takes control of the technology and shows Bradley more than he wanted to know about her real life and about her parents. I did so much research on everything I put about Audrey is biographically accurate. I did create some of the dialogue that didn't exist, obviously, between a real person, not that I'm Bradley, mind you, a real person and an AI. I have to invent that dialogue. It's not available somewhere. But I have Audrey take him on a deep tour of her life, including her humanitarian work with UNICEF, her death scene, and some other things that, if you think my voice cracks reading that, there's no way I could read the death scene and one other scene out loud to you. So I'll let you enjoy that when the audiobook comes out at the end of the month, or by reading the book. But thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
So what questions do you guys have for the author tonight?
Zach, yeah.
So it's less of a question, but I want to express a scene that you sort of filled in the blanks on when Bradley was interviewing the ex-lovers. And so and without giving too much away, but I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Oh,
just
good.
Because it was just, I could see it. I could see the panel of the ex-lovers and how they're communicating between each other. And I just thought that was just so much fun.
Thanks, Zach. So what he's talking about there is kind of like a talk show. I had all of Audrey's former beaux in one room at the age where they had a relationship with Audrey. And so my main question as Bradley was, how could you ever break up with Audrey Hepburn? How could you ever screw that up? And he actually drills everyone there. So we're talking about William Holden, the actor. She was married to another actor, Mel Ferrer, for 14 years. So those two go at it because if you know anything about the Sabrina era, 1954, Audrey had an affair with William Holden. He was still married, Hollywood got used to those sort of extramarital things, but in the 50s, it was a little bit more unusual. But interviewing all of those former beaux in one room, as soon as they all walk in together from off stage into this virtual reality room, they all kind of size each other up like, I know what we have in common, and so Bradley interrogates them. How did you screw it up? How did you screw it up? And there's a brawl. between two of the folks, and it was just a lot of fun to write.
I
But
can tell that
yeah.
you that was a lot of fun.
that was
I could feel
one
the
day.
heat of the
Yeah.
conversation.
That's about a 16 or 17 page chapter, my longest, and I wrote it in one sitting. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I knew exactly what I wanted to say from Bradley's perspective. Yeah, how did you screw this up? How did anybody break up with Audrey Hepburn? But yeah, a lot of philandering happening in Hollywood back then. But she had been engaged and broke that off to become a star. So she kind of said, "This is the life I want. I don't want to be just the millionaire's wife," because her former fiance was very wealthy and became a billionaire soon after. But she's like, I've been bitten by the acting bug now, so she didn't want to just give that up or share time. So she broke off an engagement, and then she got involved with Hollywood stars. And at the end of her life, she went back to the non-star relationship, I'll put it that way. And he is the final of the 8 or so bows. I forget how many there are. Maybe you remember, Zach. But the last one never says a word during that interview scene. He just cries at the fact that the way she was handled by all of her former beaux except for him. So that was pretty cool to write about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So other questions? Anyone else have a question for the author? This is the chance.
Hey, I do have another thing.
Please.
The character Brenner, said the very early on, the gentleman who would stay at the hotel in the room.
Oh, Bannister.
Bannister,
He
yes.
named the program after Bannister.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm ignorant to that relationship as far as the reality of that. How did you? Okay, so that was
I made
all
it up.
curated.
I made it up.
Ah,
I needed a foil.
yeah.
I needed 3 foils in this novel. And for those that don't know what a foil is, it's basically someone who drives the action. So this particular foil, it helps drive the action, that character, by something they say or do. And so for that, I needed some sort of, I knew the setting for this novel would be San Francisco and Silicon Valley, because I knew I could visit those places. And I did during my research, and everyone opened their doors warmly to me. Oh, I have to give the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco, one of the most elegant hotels in the world. Their concierge showed me, the room where Audrey gave a big UNICEF speech a year before she passed away. It was really, really cool. But that sort of research is invaluable. San Francisco Public Library, invaluable research, looking at the old articles from when Audrey was there in April and May of '53. So it was really, really heartwarming. What's that? Oh yeah, we visited a home where Audrey had a big debutante coming out party when she was in a play called Gigi. She had filmed Roman Holiday, but hadn't come out yet. She was doing a national tour of Gigi. And the final stop was San Francisco. That's what took her there. That's what led to that picture I mentioned that gave me that middle of the night idea. That the woman of that house wasn't the owner in 1953, obviously, but she opened her house to us. My wife Paula and I spent many hours there, and she talked us through everything. But Bannister was a figment of my imagination. I needed that foil to kind of ground who she was in San Francisco in 1953, that she wasn't completely a nut in her personal life. And so Bannister was a figment of my imagination. He kind of appears, Nabokov, the Russian author, invented something called word golf. Well, I invented character golf, I guess you could say. That's a character that shows up, every once in a while. You drive the ball toward the hole. And so Bannister was that.
Well, you did a beautiful job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Zach.
So, well, thank you for joining us
thank
tonight.
you all. Thanks to everyone out there who might be watching
see.
as well.
I'm going to stick my head in on the side here. Thank you, everyone who's joined us. Did you get a book too?
Yeah.
Oh, you
He's an
made a
author
book.
too.
He's an author too. That's pretty exciting. Well, I want to thank you for being here tonight, Joe, and thanks for everyone who joined us here tonight. And I want to recommend everybody buy a copy of this book wherever you want to, but I do recommend that you try to support your local bookseller. And if you have to buy online, please do visit bookshop.org, because if you don't want to send all your pesos to Spaceos with Bezos, you want to support bookshop.org and libro.fm, which these two nonprofit organizations support independent booksellers like us. So thank you for joining me tonight. And
Thanks,
thank you
Trish.
all for being here. Read the book, second act. And there's the author on the slide. There we go. Good night, you guys. So we're going to sign off. Be sure to get a copy of the book. The author is going to be signing some book plates. And so wherever you buy your book, you can get a signed book plate if you have watched or joined us live tonight over the internet. I'm going to sign off on our live stream. So thank you all for joining us today. And once again, thanks to author Joe Navratil. Here we go. His book, Second Act, a novel of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And we've learned a lot about it tonight. So it's going to be a wonderful read. I'm excited. Hold that up while we end our live stream here. So this will be available